Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to this session, and what we're going to cover is using the command line, doing some simple navigation through the file system, and then we'll also bring up another Linux-based OS, and we'll actually go through using some of the more administrative features. And so what you see here is the latest version of Kali Linux. This is the latest distro, and we're going to log in. Log in Kali. All right, so this is the latest and greatest version of Kali right here. So Kali is a offensive security distribution used by a number of organizations. The cool thing here is with this new distro, if I click Show Applications, the items are broken out much better. So information gathering, vulnerabilities, web apps, sniffing, post-exploitation, forensics, reporting, Wireshark is right here. So it's really neat in how pretty much everything is kind of wrapped up and grouped together appropriately. And so this right here looks very, this is, it's very similar to GNOME. So we'll be pulling up GNOME in a little bit, but this resembles GNOME and how GNOME looks. And so that's what you see here. So if I were to click, vulnerability, and I will see these associated tools with vulnerability. But for this session, we're going to go more into command line and then go into more of the administrative stuff for general Linux. So I'm going to click here, I'm going to close that, and this is my terminal. So now I'm in terminal. So always update your system. You want to run this command all the time first so you can get the latest updates for any of the libraries that you may have. So you want to make sure you have the latest and greatest. So what I'm doing now is pretty much updating my OS. So I have all the updates. I'm going to clear, and it's going to remove everything. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into, I'm going to see what directories I have. So I'm going to go to my documents, ls, and there's nothing there. So I'm going to create 4 files with one command. So I'm going to touch 1, 2, 3, and sample 4. I'm going to hit enter. So if I hit ls, just like I said, it's going to show me a list. But I do ls-l, this is going to show me the permissions. So Yukio, which is users, groups, others. So here I have read, write, no execute. So I have, read is 4, which is in write is the equivalent of 2, and execute equals 1. So here, this would be 6. Read would be, this would be 4 and 4. So 644 is what I have on all these permissions here. So 644 is what I have. So what I'm doing now is I need to make this, what it is to be an executable file. So I'm going to say, we're going to do change mod. I'm going to do make it executable. So I can do +X, or I can do 777. I can change the permissions, or I can do 7, which is rewrite execute, and then I could do 4, and then I could do sample 1. Got the item in there wrong, so I'm going to go back. Oh, I can't spell sample right. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to enter. I'll do ls-l. Now I can see that this is the name, though this is executable has is, it's a green, it's also a different color, so now it's green. So now I want sample 4 to be executable. And so to make that sample 4 executable, I'm going to do something different. So I'm going to do change modify +X sample 4, enter, ls-l, and come stay here. So what I want to do now is I want to create a shell script. And so I'm going to do touch shell dot do install. So I'll do install me.sh, do ls-l, and I'm going to these are all my files, and my shell script is not executable. So I'm going to just change mod +x install mark ls-l. And now you can see my install script, my shell script to install files or whatever is actually executable. So one of the things I'm going to look at now is actually making that, how do I, change it? And so I can, or how do I, write some type of command to it? So I'm going to say them. So I need to make sure I have this installed. So sudo apt -get install them. All right. So I'm going to them install inside them. Your shebang bin bash. This is going to make sure that this file is going to run. And then now I'm going to do a sudo apt get update. So it's going to run any updates. Now I'm going to create and think about programs I want to install. I'm just going to do something Wireshark. And some of these programs I probably already have. Install nmap. All right, so one of the things I need to do, I need to make sure I kind of annotate what this script is going to do. So this is an installation script. Any of the actual users, run updates for OS. It's Wireshark. Just in case someone else happens to come along and use a script. Install nmap. Right, echo. It's telling the user it's on a virus, do not panic or shut down system. Here I can say installation is complete. I'm going to see if I have one more file down here. And I'm just kind of writing the name of the file. So this is the tricky part. So you have to know exactly the name of the files that you're actually going to install. Actually, let me English is not, I guess, not my strong point. So I'm going to install Alien. Alien is more of a package converter tool. Install Alien, and so these are the items that I have for this particular script. So I'm going to save these items. Save. And I'm going to use a command like heads. So I'll do like head install. And this is going to kind of, actually I'll do head dash 10, actually 8 will be enough. So I can see what's on the first line of the program. I'll do install. This will show me kind of what's there. So I can see what's there. Now I'll run that file. And then now the file is running. All right, so what I'm going to do now is asking to have additional space available. I'm going to hit yes, and then it's going to continue with the installation. All right, so all these actual items are installed. So what I'm going to do now is kind of go through some of these, I would say, basic commands that you should kind of understand in terms of navigating the command line. So ls is going to put, directory of contents. ls-l is going to give you the long list format. So ls-l. Now ls-a is going to show all the contents of the folder, including those that are hidden. So, and then there is another command, and we're going to actually go out to do that's going to go up one directory. So cd space dot dot. And now I'm going to do ls-blk. And this is going to print any block devices by their assigned name on the standard output in a tree-like fashion. So ls-blk will provide this item as well. Now, if you do ls-blk-l, it puts it in a list structure, but not in a tree-like fashion. All right, so I'm going to clear this, and we'll do some more commands. So you have uname -a will provide the detailed information about the machine, machine name, OS, and then the kernel, and that's what's put here. So say if you're actually trying to download maybe a image for your and you're trying to download software, like I have no clue what type of software should I download. Should I do 32-bit, 64-bit? You do the simple command here, and so here it shows 64-bit. So it shows it right here. So now you know if you need to download something, it needs to be 64-bit. All right. So for those who are unfamiliar with maybe your command line history, you type history, you'll actually get a history of all the commands you ran. And this is good. So if you're actually you forget maybe a command, or it's complicated with a particular command, you type history, you can see everything that you've done, because maybe you have actually ran a particular command and you installed something you didn't want to install, or you uninstalled a particular software package or something like that. Maybe you mucked something up and you're like, okay, where did I go wrong? Here you can go through all the commands and you can see exactly what you did. And it provides you kind of like an audit trail of all the different events that happen. Now, sudo, as you know, it allows a user to become a super user. So whenever you type in, say I were to do app-get update due to updates. Oh, that was bad. I already hit sudo, but if I didn't hit sudo, it would not work. All right, so now I'm going to see where I'm at. I'm going to go back to documents. I'm going to clear. And so make directory is the other item. So I can make directory fake directory. So now I've made a fake directory. mkdir is make directory. To remove that directory is rmdir fake. Now that directory is gone. Now the touch command, the way that I always remember the touch command in terms of creating new files and stuff, I think of touch as in like Midas touch. So I hit touch, something new is going to come about. So that's the way I think about touch. And that's how I think of that. Now for those that are dealing with change modify, so you do ls-l, I have all the different permissions. Now here is where you can actually do more with your change modify command. I'll give a few examples of how that can work, and then we'll scuttle along. All right, so here you see there's sample 2. We'll look at sample 2, and sample 2 has read, write, read, and read, and so I'm looking at 6, 4, 4, right? So I'm going to say 6. Okay, I got an idea. So I'm going to do change modify. I'm going to do 7 because I want read, write, execute. And maybe I just want execute on both of those, right? That's it for both those groups. Hit sample 2, enter. Now when I do this, you'll see that sample 2 is read, write, execute, and then anybody can execute, but no one can read and write to that. All right, and now I'm going to, so there's other commands. I'll do clear on this so it doesn't get too complicated. You're not seeing too much on the screen. But you can do change file ownership of a group. You can also do tar, which is a tape archive. You can do cal, which is CAL, which is just calendar. So if you were to type cal, it's going to be a calendar. And then there's different calendars you can actually put out. So I can say cal 10 is 2015. So it's going to show me a calendar for 2015. So I can see today is the 6th. So it's pretty cool. So I can do cal. Let's see, what is November looking like? 2015. And that's what that does. So you can go ahead of time and back. The other command, you could do date. Date's just going to show you the date, and there's multiple outputs of the date. You have concatenation, which is like joining different files or whatnot. And then you have copy, move. So I can do, clear that. So cd dot. I'm going to create a file called touch new. I'm going to mv new documents. And so new is no longer there, but if I go to documents, new is there. So with the move command, it's just mv, file name, file destination. So that is all that is. Now pwd is just prints the working directory. So if you're curious what directory in, and just print that directory just to know where I'm at. Now you can also do this. So you can also just do this. So it shows directory there. So I can do pwd. So it shows them in documents, root in documents. I can do ls as well. And it's going to give me at least what's in the directory. But if I just want to see where am I at within, what directory I'm working with, and the full path, which is good for copying and doing moves and stuff like that, that is something I can do. And then, of course, as we talk, change directory, it's just cd. So if I want to go back out, hit plus, and actually, I'm going to go back in here real quick. Let me go cd documents. Those are kind of your basic, your basic commands or basic files, basic commands within. These are the commands that you should know. So these are at least the 15 or so that you should know. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I am actually going to show you some more administrative stuff. And I'm going to show kind of the navigation of how it looks in Ubuntu GNOME. So here I'm going to click clear, sudo sudo power down, base power down. That is power off. All right, so all I did here was just power off the VM. And so I'm going to share with you now this version of Ubuntu. All right, so what you see here is just GNOME, and we're going to log in. So the interface is a little different. Let me make it a little bigger for you guys out there. So this has the GNOME interface, not the Unity interface that a lot of you guys are familiar with that have been using, I would say, Ubuntu traditionally. So if I click Activities, and here's my web browser, Evolution, Email, Empathy, Rhythmbox, Writer, Files, Help. And this is the cool thing. So let's go here to Files. So I go to Files, and like what you saw in the terminal, I was actually changing directories and stuff. I was actually navigating through, these directories and files right here. So I go to Documents, I go to, if I were to say New Folder, sample me, this would be an example of creating those new files or whatever, or a new directory. And that's all that is. So it's really nothing complicated when you think about it. It's just ways that you can see what's happening via terminal, rather than actually using the GUI. But here, just showing the GUI. So I'm going to delete. Actually, I'm going to just minimize this. So I'm going to close this out. All right, so that's that. Here's software uploader. So usually when you just sudo space app-get-update, you're bringing this item up here. So you have the updates. So here from the GUI, you can see how the GUI is working. So now it's asking for my password. So I'm going to provide the password for authentication. All right, so software loader is kind of running here. The other cool thing is I can click on details. I can see exactly what is being downloaded. So this is one of the things as well. So those that are familiar with installing or doing updates in Windows, here I can actually see what files and the sizes of those files are actually being uploaded. So now Thunderbird's getting downloaded. So now showing extraction of the packages. So let's just keep running. All right, so this is a little bit more than halfway done. And then what I'll do is I'll show you how, I'll give you an example of Ubuntu looks. Not the GNOME Ubuntu, but the other Ubuntu, so you can see just more files and essentially how the other applications look in terms of the GUI and stuff like that, because they're different look and feel for everything. All right, so we'll let this, actually we'll stop sharing this. So let this run and I will share actually my screen. So I will minimize all this and I'm going to share my screen. All right, so now you can see my screen. Now, the screen on the right will look, like I see a box inside a box. So I'm just going to use this monitor. So what I was doing, so when you think about administration and different tools and how does the GUI operate and what can you do, this is a good example. So I'm going to just organize my desktop by name real quick. And if I go here, this is kind of where I can search. I can search for files and stuff like that. I have Chromium. Chromium doesn't really work that much anymore because of, the built-in Adobe Java applets and stuff like that. I have Image Viewer. I have RStudio. If I need system items, so System Monitor, I can click System Monitor, and System Monitor is going to show me all my processes are running. Now the cool thing is I can also do this. This will show me processes as well. So here you see two different things. So you see your System Monitor, so showing me kind of what's running, and here the same item. So like I said, terminal or command line versus a GUI, same exact items. Now what I was trying to demonstrate earlier was this. So say I create a new folder. I say it's called sample me, right? So here's my new folder right here. So I'm going to actually log into, I'm going to go here. So let me see where I go, CD desktop. And I'm going to go CD sample. So now I'm in sample me. And so I'm going to do touch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you look at the folder, you'll see that 6 files are created. So it's not that if you do something via command line, it's going to be ultimately different, but it does allow you the flexibility to navigate around the system more. So here I have 6 files created. If I want to create multiple shell scripts, shell1.sh, shell2.sh, shell3.sh, shell4.sh. Enter, and then I have the shell scripts that are created right here to the right. So you can see that those 4 shell scripts are created. And if I wanted to change the permissions, I can do properties. I can do permissions. I can allow executing. I can hit that off. And then looking at here, I can do ls-l. And now the permissions have been changed to executable for all those items. So this is a way that you can kind of use the GUI and command line back and forth, depending on how comfortable you are. So I'm going to clear, exit. So I'm going to close out of that. I close out of that, and I'm just going to delete this rather than trying to delete all the files, then putting it up. So with the GUI, I have programs such as Library Writer, which is very familiar to like LibreOffice, Microsoft Office. So this is my writer that I have. So I use this, just for writing. I have Word documents and stuff like that. So this is one of the files. I have LibreOffice Calc. So this is just like Microsoft Excel. Pretty neat. Say if I can do different commands. The commands are pretty similar. So 5. So I have 4 and 5 here. I'm going to make this, see if I can make this bigger. 4 and 5. I'm going to put equals sum. I'm going to add these 2 items, these 2 cells together. Enter. Same exact thing. I'm going to close this out. Don't save. I have Impress. And so Impress is just like using Microsoft PowerPoint. So that's all it is. So say simple presentation. That's all it's like, different interface, but same item. Plus, oh, we hit cancel. The cool thing is all these I can export directly as PDF. I can save as, and then I have tons of formats that are presented here. So I have Microsoft formats, ODF formats, Open Office formats. It's pretty neat. So I'm going to close out of this. Now, what you saw earlier in terms of the way I was doing virtualization, I was using actually this, which is Oracle Virtualbox. And that's where you saw the VM running. So that's what this right here is. So I'm actually going to close this out, power this off, and just bring this one up. Yeah, and here you can see all the different VMs and stuff. All right, so that's that. I have a number of tools in here like RStudio, which is for business intelligence. Well, let me get back into some more administration stuff. So I have syslog. So here I can see all the different items that was done. So time that, waiting for its reply. And this goes back all the way until, well, not that long. I thought I went back further. There is this particular log here. I have this authentication log. And system settings. So here you can navigate pretty much around everywhere. So I can change appearance, brightness and log, language support, text entry, keyboard, displays, Bluetooth if I want Bluetooth, sound. So this is pretty cool because a number of times when you're actually talking into the system or waiting to hear something back, you can increase it so it can be louder. So what the problem is, the sound may be distorted. That's input right here. So I can change how loud my mic gets. So I can say, let me put it up a little bit louder so you can hear me better. So here I can change the output of my microphone. I can change if I'm going to use the headset, sound effects, applications. So I'm going to go back here. And of course, mouse pad settings there, power settings. Now this is important because I can change screen brightness. So I can save pretty much energy if it's unplugged. It's plugged, so I'm going to actually have it all the way up. I can suspend if it's inactive. If it's critically low, I can have it on hibernate, lid close. I can choose what it does. I go back here. We're not going to go through there. This is just details about the system. Ubuntu 15.04. For those that are familiar with releases, LTS is the long-term support, and 15.04 is built off the LTS, but it has more cutting, bleeding edge items added onto it. It shows my processor, my memory, my OS type. So for those who are using this command, so say you're trying to navigate and you're like, I know about your computer, you can type this command in, or you can go to the GUI and find this. But it's the same stuff. Now, space may be only 158 gigs, but it's solid state, so yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. So basically, here it shows, remove immediate. How should it be handled? You can make a Linux live disk, and when you make that live disk, you can actually have it run off a CD or USB. So here it's saying, what do you want to do? So like CD, I can have it immediately go here where you can create new images, or I can go here where you can play music. But here, just have asked what to do because it depends on what I have on various media and stuff like that. And then, of course, is just my legal notice, which many of us do not read. User accounts. So I can create user accounts. I can look at history. So I can click here. I can look at login history. I can also change picture if I want a different picture. I can change the account type. So let's go in here. All right, let me unlock this bad boy. So I think I'm a, what am I? I don't know. Maybe I'm a spaceship. Okay. So I can change automatic login. I can look at history again, of course, show my login name at the menu bar. I can add another account. So standard administrator, no matter what. So if I say administrator, you still have to have access to super user. So I can pretty much still limit what various administrators do and what they have access to. So that's one kind of the beauties about here. But if I choose standard, the standard user is not going to be able to do any type of adding in any installation of programs and stuff like that. So I can go back out here. Displays is just like in Microsoft. So I can just change, what is being displayed via the screen and stuff like that. Resolution, other neat nifty items. So I'm going to go back out here. Appearance is pretty cool. So I can change the launcher size. So if you look to the far left of the launcher, I can change the size of the icons, which is way too big. All right, it looks more clean. And then here I can, of course, I can change the wallpapers and stuff. Nothing special. And then I can change behavior. So I can auto hide the launcher, enable workspaces. Now the workspace is pretty cool. So for those who are not familiar with the workspace in Linux, so here I can have multiple workspaces. So I can have just tons of workspaces for tons of different things. So that is one of the, I think, pretty cool things. So say I have a workspace strictly for programming, I just want to have all my programming IDEs, integrated development environments running in that workspace, I can do that. And speaking of programming environments, here's just an example here of actual IDE. This runs on top of PyCharm. Well, sorry, it runs on top of Python, and it's PyCharm. And this is an example of a recent assignment. So I can have this running in its own workspace, which would be cool because if I have a workspace for programming, one for doing another tool, I can just run these and not worry about, my desktop or workspace being convoluted with tons of different stuff. Screenshot, this is just a tool I use. I can grab the whole screen, I can grab the window. I can just choose what I want to grab. So I can say, I want to grab this. It'll save this. And then I'll just have a screenshot of that. Now, in terms of downloading the software and programs, one of the things that Ubuntu has, which is really freaking awesome, is the Ubuntu Software Center. So I can go here and I can say, you know what, I want to download, let's see, a developer tool. So I'm looking at developer tools. I'm like, okay, I need something. So I'm going to look at IDEs, and I already have Eclipse, of course, but maybe I want to get Ninja, right? Ninja is a Python IDE. So I want to download Ninja. I'll put in my password to authenticate myself. And Ninja is right here. And so now I have Ninja downloaded. So that's one of the cool things here about, like before when we did the installation, you do the sudo app -get install, and then you have the application name. The problem is if you don't know the application name to download it, then it won't download, right? So here, you can just go to the Software Center, you can type in the application you need, and it'll just install. So I can go back here, and I'll say, I know I need antivirus, right? So I'll say AV. Okay, cool. All right, so I type in anti. So now I can scan for more threats. I'll click more info. Give me more info, what the actual item looks like. So then I can create a screenshot of the antivirus. It'll give me kind of just a brief, it's lightweight, on-demand antivirus scanner, optional add-ins that I may need. So here's the menu provider extension. So I'll download that. Here's reviews. Go to the Froggy setting, disable double click. What happens when you need to double click each button to make it work? Why did they do this? Was this on purpose? So sometimes you have people like they're excited with the program, but they're also legitimately really whining. But it's pretty cool. So you can see what's the rating, how many people have downloaded it. So we have 159 ratings. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. So I need this. I'm going to go ahead and install this item. All right, so Clam is installed and it goes directly to my launcher, and I can remove it off my launcher as well. If I right click unlock from launcher, it'll just be removed from my launcher. So here is the virus scanner, that quick and simple. So I'm going to go back here. I don't want Ninja here, so I'm just going to unlock. It's gone. All right, so I'm going to go back here, and it's pretty cool. So I can click here, it'll show me what it's installed. So I'll say, okay, what developer tools are installed, and these are all my developer tools. You can see I'm Python heavy. That's pretty much what I mainly program in. Games, I guess there's a couple games here. Play on Linux is not really a game. It allows you to run Linux items like on Wine and stuff like that. So it's not really a game. Actually, I'll show you Play on Linux. So here's Play on Linux right here. And so I can install various programs. I can go to make this a little bit bigger. Click on install program, and this allows me to run Windows programs on Linux. So I can choose education, I can choose games. These are the games that are out there, graphics tools, internet. I never use IE. It's on there, but it's like I won't touch it at all. Multimedia, Office, there'll be other items. But the one program I have installed is called Publish or Perish. I'll just hit play or run. And then basically this will, I'll say no. So we'll just say author's name. And it runs pretty good. Sometimes it crashes, but there's other tools you can use like Crossover, and Crossover works better than Play on Linux. And then it works better than just running Wine generally in your system. But all Publish or Perish does is does a search on author name and kind of what they publish and stuff like that. So it would be great to have 4,000 citations. These are not all the Marty Salsons. I guess it's a more common name than one would think or hope. I thought it was special, but I guess not. But if I click here, actually, I can uncheck all, and then I can go here and kind of choose, what's me or whatnot. So it's pretty cool. So I clicked off that. I click off Play on Linux. Yep, I want to leave. So Play on Linux, Windows. So graphics tools. These are some graphics tools that I have as well. But this is pretty much some of the stuff that you can do just in Ubuntu. In terms of actually making use of it fully, I would highly suggest, just diving in there a little deeper. But, first have a feel for the command line, get comfortable, and then do some of your system administration type stuff with Ubuntu, whether it's Ubuntu, whether it's Kali or GNOME Ubuntu or Fedora or CentOS, just, play around with it. And so you can actually get rid of some of these items where it shows these Amazon items, where it has Amazon items that come up. You can actually get rid of those items, so that's not a big deal. I don't have any music, so I'll close out of that. But that pretty much handles it in terms of what you can do. But I want to show you one more cool thing, since we have time. This is called Cleopatra. And this is a certificate manager, so I can create my own. We'll do file new. And you can do OpenPG pair. So Mo. Let's see. Next. It's pretty cool. So just type, and then it'll create your key and everything. So this is another open source tool. This will run with Thunderbird, and Thunderbird is a open source email client. And Thunderbird is it's like Outlook, I think better, but you can run it as well. So that is going to be it for this session. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me, email me, leave comments, and we'll talk a little bit further. And that concludes this particular session. And remember that this is archived and it'll be on the YouTube page, and I will provide a link via Twitter and other social media so that you can find that page. But if you type Maurice Dawson YouTube, the page will come up and you can click on that link. So Maurice, so I spell Maurice, put a space, then Dawson, DAWSON, space, and YouTube, which is YOUTUB, and then you'll be able to see a ton of videos. While I'm here, what I'll do is I will actually share the item. So if you type in Maurice Dawson, YouTube, this is me, this is me, this is me. So you click right here, click on videos, and you'll be able to see the videos, and it'll be archived up here. Now, one of the cool things is showing that it's live now. So all those who are actually listening to right now is actually showing on the YouTube channel page that Linux system file navigation and shell scripting. I'll change the name, but you can see it's live right now, and it'll be archived right here. All right, thank you all for attending.